able to get to your question, it's storming outside. It's 4th of July. In case you're wondering why I'm like this, it's 4th of July. Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm going to be doing a Towson Q&A slash like general college Q&A. I promised you all in my sophomore college experience video that I would answer your questions in a whole other video since I wasn't able to get to them in that one. So here we are, and I have made a huge list. So today I'm going to be answering all of your Towson specific and college related questions. So before we get into this video, don't forget to stop what you're doing and subscribe to join the Famurray. And don't forget to turn on that bell so you know whenever I upload. So let's just get right on into this video. Okay y'all, so I'm going to start with the questions I got on Instagram. My Instagram is always linked below. I'll put it on the screen too if you want to follow me. You should totally check it out. So the number one question that I've gotten is, how do you balance your social life, education, and your videos? I got the same question that was worded differently, like how do you budget your time for college, social life, and YouTube? And I also do work an on-campus job as well, so needless to say, I am a very busy gal. In terms of balancing all of these things, I think it's super important to stay organized in order for me to effectively balance those things. Me personally, I am super into my planner. I will always set reminders on my Echo. I will set reminders on my phone. If I don't write it down or put it somewhere or make reminders so I remind myself, that I will forget things. But because I so religiously put things in my planner and color code it and I stay organized, I know what I have to do. I know where I have to be when you're more organized, it's definitely easier to juggle all of the things that you have to do because you know exactly what you need to get done. You know exactly where you need to be when. I schedule everything. Like, literally, I schedule hanging time with my friends because I literally will not see them unless I make the effort to see them because I'm so busy. It's a lot and it's stressful. So I think another thing is that make sure you schedule time for yourself, because there's no way you're gonna lose your mind if you're balancing college, social life, doing all of these different things. If you're constantly on the go and juggling stuff, like, it can burn you out a lot. I definitely get sick sometimes because I'm doing so much that I literally burn myself out. So it's important to set aside time for you. I do what I call self-care days. I just made a video about them, so check it out if you want to see it. But yes, make sure you schedule time for you. You time is the most important time that there is, because if you're not taken care of, then you won't be able to do anything else. So the next thing I'm going to answer is what is the best way to make friends and making friends in classes? I would say the best way to make friends is to actually like make the effort to talk to new people, because you're never gonna meet new people, you're never gonna talk to people unless you talk to them, if that makes any sense. I know it's scary and it can be super intimidating, but especially if people who have the same classes as you, it's great if you get their contact info, even if it's like a Snapchat or something, and then you can message them about homework or ask them if they want to study after class for an exam coming up. Get involved with the people in your classes, because not only will that be potential friendship, like I've made some really good friends in classes, and all you gotta do is just talk to them, like talk to them about class, and sometimes it'll develop into something else, and then you're like, oh hey, like I like you, like we can be friends. Definitely just put yourself out there in the classes, obviously at an appropriate time, like don't interrupt the class and be socializing. Don't be that person, your professor will not like you. But yeah, make an effort to get to know the people in your class, and if you're nervous about doing that, then I definitely recommend dipping your toes in the water with being like, hey, do you want to study for this exam together, or do you want to meet at the library and get some work done, or can you help me out with this assignment, or even just having their number so that you can text them and be like, hey, is this due tomorrow? Like, it's just, people in your classes are there, so you might as well like get to know them. They're taking the same stuff that you are, they're learning the same information, so they're a great resource, and they can turn out to be really great friends too. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and ask them to study. Something so simple like that could turn into a great friendship. And it's the same thing in general with like your dorms and stuff. Like, open your door, like let people walk by, look in, like say hi. It's definitely hard, especially if you're more of an introvert, which I can be sometimes, but I know it can be scary. But if you're never gonna make friends unless you like put yourself out there and try to meet new people. Okay, this is a good one. How do you manage your stress? The gym, music, and self-care days. When I'm really stressed out, a lot of times I will just listen to music, try to get my mind off of whatever is stressing me out. I will go to the gym, because sometimes when you just sweat it all out, it feels good and feels like it's a relief. It's a stress relief for me, at least personally. And then my self-care days are also another way that I kind of like wind down, center myself, like focus on me, give myself time to chill, so I'm not just constantly stressing about this thing. And obviously that's easier said than done. Trust me, I have anxiety. I know how bad the stress can be, especially in university. It's the worst stress I've ever had in my whole life. But all you need to do is find what works for you and how you relieve your stress. So like I said, for me, that's going to the gym, sweating it out. That is self-care days and music. Just know what you need to do to help yourself when you're feeling really stressed out, and it will be very, very, very helpful for your entire college experience. So this one's cute. This one, someone said, why mass communications major? So if you don't know, I am a mass communications major studying journalism, public relations with a minor in electronic media and film. That is my degree that I'm currently studying. I love talking to people. As I talk to the internet, I do a lot of social media related jobs. I'm an orientation leader this summer. I love talking to people. I love communication. I love meeting new people. I love being able to help people or just make them feel comfortable. I don't know. I love people, and I think that that's why I chose mass communications. One, also general reason is because I feel like doing mass comm, I have a whole world that I could like dive into and apply for jobs for. I'm studying PR and journalism. That's a whole two separate worlds, along with EMF, which is a whole nother world. So I feel like through my degree, I have a lot of options for when I graduate and need to get a real job. So I got a few questions that were like comparing high school to college. One, I like college way more than high school. That's for a few reasons. One, I like that we aren't in the same classrooms all day, every single day. I like that you don't have every class every single day. So like you normally have like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, or a once a week class for 3 hours. So you don't have every class every single day, which I think is really nice because you don't get really as much burnt out and you have time in between to do homework. I like that I have free time. I like that it's not like class, 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 unless that's how your schedule is built in college. But it's like I like that I have space in between classes to do things, whether that's get lunch with friends, go to the gym, go to my job. I like the time aspect of it. I also love that other than the core curriculum that I'm finally getting to study classes that I really genuinely enjoy. I like that I'm taking classes that I feel like will benefit me in the future. So something else that I always like to say is I feel like obviously it depends on your major and what you're studying. Like some degrees are obviously way harder than others, but I feel like the huge thing with college is that it is the amount of work and juggling everything that you're gonna be juggling. I feel like that's the hard part rather than the difficulty of the work. Now don't get me wrong, it's hard. Like you gotta work hard, you gotta study, you gotta do your homework, you gotta do that extra credit. Like obviously it's all up to you. That's another thing, is in college, like no one's gonna baby you. It's you. You either go to your classes or you don't. You either take care of yourself or you don't. Like you're kind of on your own, and it's a super big learning experience. That's why I personally think I learned way more about myself in 2 years of college than I ever did in 4 years of high school, because you're there and it's you and your university. What you do with your time, like it's all up to you, because your professors aren't gonna be like, hey, why aren't you coming to my class? Like some will, especially freshman year. Some are kind of like, hey, what's going on? But for the most part, like if you don't show up, professors are just gonna mark you down. Some professors grade take down for like attendance, so show up to your classes. But yeah, those are some of the biggest differences that I can think of. So someone asked, this is actually a really good question. So someone said, do you genuinely like Towson? Yes, I do. So I definitely understand this question because I'm a college YouTuber. I vlog about Towson all the time. I'm an orientation leader for Towson, and I do social media for Towson, and I have done it since my freshman year. So I'm sure you're like, are you really like, do you really like Towson? The answer is yes. I feel like Towson is my second home away from home. I feel so cared for and welcome. I feel like I have a horn. I'm a little mad about it, so we're gonna, sorry. I love it here. I don't really know what else to say. I genuinely feel at home there, and I feel like I've been so successful there. Like the amount of opportunities I've gotten from that university, I'm so thankful, and I can't wait for another 2 years there. Genuinely, I love Towson and I highly recommend it, and I hope you all give it a chance too. Okay, so someone asked apartment versus dorm life. So if you don't know, after my freshman year of living on campus, I moved into an off-campus apartment. So apartment life is definitely more remote, if that makes sense. Especially if it's an off-campus apartment where there's no RAs or CCAs, which is like the residence life, people who live in your building and manage everything. Apartment life is definitely way more independent. People don't have their doors open to like communicate. So the social life is definitely a lot lesser in an apartment than in a dorm, because in a dorm room, like the RAs hold floor events or they hold mandatory floor meetings, so you're kind of forced to socialize and to see the people you're living around, especially if you have like a communal bathroom. You're constantly seeing people. In an apartment, you don't really get that social aspect, so it's definitely different, but I love apartment life. Like I feel like I got my social life my freshman year, and then now I have my friends where I'm kind of like sticking with. Yeah, I would say that that's the biggest difference, is like the social aspect, and the apartment is a little nicer than the dorms, I'm not gonna lie. Like the dorm was was pretty solid, but obviously it's a dorm and there's always, like, especially community bathrooms, there's always the little dirtiness that always happens occasionally, whereas an apartment, you like are in charge of it and you keep it clean, you make it how you want it to look, and me and Jordan and Quinn were very clean, so our apartment always looked very nice and I love that. But yeah, I love living in an apartment. Mine is pretty close to campus. I'm not going to say what apartment I live in just for safety reasons. If you see me on campus and you want to have a one-on-one conversation about where I live now, hit me up. I'd say that that's the biggest difference, is the social aspect and then the cleanliness aspect. Living in a smaller space, like with a bunch of people, versus like a bigger space with a few people, like it's nice. So it was a big step up going from a dorm to an apartment, and I feel like a royal now. Like I feel like I'm a queen in my little apartment. I love it. The next question is about how do the shuttles work? How do the Towson shuttles work? So this one is kind of Towson specific, sorry. If you don't have it already, if you are a Towson student, I highly recommend you get the TU Tiger Ride app. It kind of looks like that. It's a little school bus, and basically you can track the buses on here. It'll show you like estimated times of arrival. Get there early, get there before the time it says it'll arrive, because sometimes it's a little off. It also shows you all of the routes that the buses go to, so it'll show you all of the routes and where all of the stops are, as well as track the buses and give you times of arrival. So I highly recommend you use the app. That's probably the best way that you're going to be able to use the shuttles. They have a bunch of different ones. So they have the black and gold route, which the black route is primarily just going around campus, so basically like West Village and then primary campus, and that's it. The gold route goes primary campus, West Village, and like I think University Village, along with the CQ Arena and like all of the athletic fields. So gold route goes towards the stadium as well. And then they have Tiger in Town, which is a one that I take all the time, and that one goes uptown as well as around the mall. And then they also have like Loch Raven, Kenilworth. They have a bunch of apartment different routes that go deeper out towards like the farther away off-campus apartments. And yeah, so that's kind of how the buses work. When you do get on your Tiger in Town or ones that are going away from campus, I don't think you have to swipe for black or gold routes, but for Tiger in Town and all the other ones, you just swipe your one card when you get on, showing that you're like a Towson student using the Towson bus. If you do have a guest, you can swipe twice for your guest. Yeah, that's about it. That's how the shuttles work. I hope that was helpful. Still storming like really bad outside too. What is the worst part about college? So I would say the only bad things about college is the tuition, how expensive it is. I would say the stress level of it, because it is really stressful, especially if you don't handle your stress well, which I don't always do because I have anxiety, so it's sometimes hard to maintain my stress and manage it. So I'd say the high stress level and intensity can be really stressful and tiring sometimes. Helped me learn a lot about myself. So even though I don't like it, it has made me more of a hardworking, independent person. And yeah, those are the only things that I don't really like about college. Someone asked, what was your greatest challenge this year? So I guess you're talking about the like academic year. If you watched my sophomore college experience, if you haven't, go watch it. But I talked a little bit about how I had a really hard time in the fall of 2017. I was at a breaking point, like a really the lowest point of my life. And I was thinking very bad thoughts, and it was just a terrible time. So I think getting out of that rut and that like sadness and where that state of mind that I was in was definitely the hardest part, and my greatest challenge by far out of like my life, not even just like my year, like my life. That was the hardest time I have ever gone through. But yeah, watch that video if you want more details about that. Did living in an apartment make you feel lonely? So I would say no, because I had 2 roommates, so like that was pretty great. And we also went to other friends' dorm rooms or had them come over to our place. By the time I moved out into my apartment, I feel like I already had established friends that I could hang out with at my place or at their place whenever, so it did not really feel lonely. If anything, it was kind of nice to have some like separate space that's kind of all yours and like your roommates obviously. But also I love my roommates, they were great and I love living with them. I'm still living with Jordan next year, but we are getting a new roomie in. There's no tea there, I promise. Quinn, I love you. She's just living with some different people. There's literally no drama, no tea, no shade. Love you, Quinn, and I'm so excited to just see what happens next year, because this year was so good. But no, the answer is no, I did not feel lonely in an apartment. But obviously it depends if you're like friends with your roommate or what apartment you're living in or how far away off campus you are. It may be different, and especially depending on the person you are, you may feel a little bit lonely. And honestly, I will definitely say that it is a little bit of an adjustment period going from that such social environment in a dorm to kind of being more isolated in your apartment. But it just depends on the type of person you are, and if you don't have friends yet, well, one, I'm your friend. Hit me up. Like, literally, I will hang out with you at Towson if I have time to. Like, I really genuinely will. And I love making friends and meeting people, and I love my Famurray, so like, hit me up. What classes are you taking next year? So, in the fall, I am taking Intro to Deaf Studies, which I'm so excited about. It's a core credit, so I'm finally getting, I was waiting to take that core until I could get into the Deaf Studies class for the sole purpose because I wanted to take the sign language class. I'm taking geography. No, I'm not really happy about it, but we have to take 2 sciences at Towson, so right now I'm in the same class as my roomie Jordan, so we are going to be taking on geography just like we took on bio together. And I'm nervous about it. I hate science and I'm terrible at science, but you know, it's fine. Next, I'm taking news reporting, media ethics, as well as mass communication resource, and those are all for my major. Why did I lock my phone? Like, I'm not going right back to my list of questions. Okay, wow, the blue Wow, the blue cup really completes the 4th of July look right here. Where are you living next year? I am living in the exact same apartment that I lived in this year. I love it there. It feels like home. It's a perfect location for me. And so I am staying there, like I said, with my roommate Jordan. What are your plans after you graduate college? So I really don't know. Obviously, I have 2 more years to kind of figure it out. My game plan right now is to live with my mom, pay off my loans, and start saving some money so that I could hopefully move to California, New York, somewhere in those realms, get a job. I don't know what kind of job. I'm thinking I might try to go into a social media job because I have a lot of experience from my 2 social media jobs. I've already worked at Towson and doing YouTube for so many years. Social media just has a special place in my heart, and I feel like I'm good at it. So I don't know, maybe social media marketing or something, or maybe PR. I don't know. Like, a lot can happen in 2 years, so I really don't know, but that is kind of my plan right now. Like I said, it could change, but you know, I'll keep you all posted. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. I really hope that it was helpful. I hope I answered your questions. If I didn't get to your question, I'm so sorry. I do have a time constraint right now when I'm filming this, but if you comment down below any questions, I will either make a part 2 to this. Let me know if you all want a part 2. If you have more questions you want me to answer, I definitely will do that. If not, I will try to respond to your questions in the description box. But yes, that is it for this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if it was helpful, and if you liked it, comment below any questions you have or whatever you want. Don't forget to stop what you're doing and subscribe to Join the Famurray, and I will see you all in my next video. Love you. Bye.